And I'm not exactly sure how to sort of fit this in with this next guy. I mean, such a beautiful, flowery history of cowboy poetry. But I'll tell you, when it comes to entertainment value, there is nothing like what he does. He didn't even see us there. We were at Agribition in Regina, Canada's biggest agricultural show, probably, last December. I don't know how many thousand people there were in the stands, and they were wiping tears from their eyes and patting each other on the back and slapping their knees, just absolutely enthralled with the humor and the poetry of this next fella, Old Ugly.
Now I get back on that Air Canada, I'm getting back on the plane, they got my schedule stuff all screwed up, so they put me in the business section. And they set me down beside this preacher. And this woman, this here stewardess comes up, real beautiful stewardess, she comes up to me and she says, "Sir, would you like to have a drink?" I said, "Sure." So she gave me a drink. She said to this here preacher, "Would you like to have a drink?" And he said, "I'd rather commit adultery than to allow liquor to pass my lips." I handed her back the drink. She said, "You don't want the drink, sir?" I said, "You never told me there was a choice." Now I land back in Calgary, and I'm hungry. So I go in the restaurant in there, and the fellow stops me. He said, "You can't come in here." I said, "Why not?" He said, "You don't have a tie on." I said, "I don't have no tie." He said, "Well, sir," he said, "you go and you try to find something that looks like a tie, anything, and I'll help you let you back in." I went out, and the only thing I could find was a pair of jumper cables. So I put them on. And I come back in, and I said, "Can I come in now?" He looked at me, and he looked at the jumper cable, and he said, "Yeah, but don't you start nothing." Now, I don't drive in Calgary. Only crazy people drive in Calgary. I get on that LRT station, and man, I get in the LRT train, and I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, this here young guy gets on the bus, and he got one of these weird haircuts, rooster haircuts, red and blue and green. He got a pin up here in his eyebrow, another one in his nose, and he got something stuck on his tongue. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my whole life. So I started to stare at this fella. And I'm staring at him and staring at him. He goes to the back of the bus. So I followed him to the back of the bus, and I'm staring at him. He finally got mad, and he said, "Okay, old man," he said, "so I made a mistake. Ain't you ever made a mistake in your life?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "About 22 years ago, I got as drunk as a skunk, and they said I made love to a chicken. And I think you might be my son." I got an 86-year-old Aunt Tilly, and she is still trying to climb the ladder up to these here very professional people in the know. And I was doing a show in the Palliser Hotel a little while ago, and my wife, she didn't want to go, so Aunt Tilly said, "Can I go? I want to meet some of these fancy people." And I said, "Well, okay." But Aunt Tilly, she was sick. She had a terrible cold. She got all dressed up in her fancy dress, and she took 2 handkerchiefs, and she put one in her glove, and she put the other one down here. And man, we get there, and after I finished my speech, and after we finished eating, all of a sudden Aunt Tilly runs over to this handkerchief, and now she starts to look for the other one. And she's looking around and looking there, and the people at our table, they notice what she's doing, and they stop doing what they're doing, and they're watching Aunt Tilly. The band that's warming up for the dance afterwards, they see what Aunt Tilly's doing, and they stop playing. All of a sudden, Aunt Tilly realizes nobody's doing nothing around. She looks up, and she sees everybody looking, and she says, "Well, I had 2 when I come in here." My brother Blue was at the church having a picnic. And he went in, he got this plate of food, and he went over and he sat at this table beside this blonde-haired woman. And that blonde-haired woman looked at him and she said, "It's no good you sit beside me." He said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You ain't getting nothing from me." He said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "I'm a lesbian." He said, "How are things in Beirut?" She said, "You don't understand, old man." She said, "Do you see that there dark-haired woman over there, the one with the brown eyes?" He said, "Yes." She said, "I'd like to take off all her clothes and make mad passionate love to her." And Blue started crying. She said, "What's the matter with you, old man?" He said, "I think I'm a lesbian too." You know, folks, this is a rough old world. And if I've made you forget your problems for just a few moments, I've done my job. Thank you.
Now, honestly, did you enjoy Old Ugly at all? Let him know, okay? John, you sure did, and you never failed to make us forget all of our problems and take us to another place for a little while. But I'm not sure if we want to come back, but that was really something.